New real estate agents are hit with so many different things to do to build their business that they miss the bigger picture, and they need to focus on these things. So when you're getting into real estate, if you're like me, you're probably listening to all the podcasts, you're probably watching all the YouTube videos, and you're just trying to figure out how to do this. And what happens is you end up focusing on the small things, like, am I going to mail out postcards? Am I going to do Facebook leads? Am I going to do open houses? Those are all the little things. But what we work with our agents on is really zooming out. And there are two things you need to think about as someone who's trying to generate business. There are two major ways to generate business. One is farming. I call it farming. So I call it farming on one side, hunting on the other. But you could call it nurturing and prospecting. I mean, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to stick with farming and hunting. And what happens is you'll listen to a great agent who's been in the business for 5 years, who has a business that you would like to have, and you'll hear about referrals and how they work with their past clients and how they reach out to their sphere of influence and how they generate all this referral business. And what that usually is it's a result of years of farming. And you as a new agent, you can't wait years to start seeing business come in, right? You need business right now. And hunting and prospecting is how you generate business right now. And you need to separate the two. You can't get the two confused. You have to understand kind of where your lead generating activities are on that spectrum. Are you hunting or are you farming? And what I see with new agents is they make the mistake of trying to do these nurturing farming techniques, and then they run out of money and they're out of the business because they didn't have the time to put in to get those things to return results. On the other side of that, I also see new agents that go all in on prospecting and hunting, and they do well. They do get some business right off the bat, but they end up burning out because they never were doing the farming and the nurturing. And so when you're getting into the business, you have to do both. You can't miss one or the other. And so what we do with our agents is we say, look, what are the hunting activities you want to do? And what are the farming activities you want to do? And then when we look at those, you want to make sure you have a good balance. If open houses are going to be your thing, right? Like, yeah, open houses every weekend, open houses 3 days a week. You're working on your tactics to maximize open houses. You're working on your scripts, how you talk to people at open houses. Maybe you're working on your door hangers that you're going to hang before open houses. By all means, go all in on open houses. On the same hand, you should be documenting that you're doing open houses on your social media, right? You can be doing different content around the fact that, you know, you're at this open house and what's going on in the market, because that's all the nurturing stuff, right? That's all the farming stuff. That's all people watching your videos for 2 years and then eventually calling you. And so the biggest thing, again, that I see with new agents that you're missing is you're going all in on prospecting or going all in on farming and nurturing, and you're not figuring out the way to balance both things. And so what I would do is I take a piece of paper, draw a line right down the middle, put farming on one side, put hunting on the other, and figure out what you're going to go all in on for those two different categories. And the other thing is this: if you're a new agent and, again, you're doing what you should do, which is taking in all this information, which is listening to the podcast, which is, you know, finding out what the successful person does over here and what they do over there. I have talked to hundreds of teams, hundreds of agents, maybe even thousands at this point. Everybody's business is different. So don't get overwhelmed with all the stuff that you can do. Get the whole menu, right? Figure out as much of different things that people are doing, and then pick the things that you're passionate about. Because I can tell you what, you're going to do the prospecting things that you're passionate about better than the things that you're not passionate about. And so get as many ideas, as many options as you can, and go all in on the thing that speaks to you that you know you will crush. All right. Because what we find is if people do a lot of things, they end up doing nothing. If people do a lot of things, they end up doing nothing. So if you have this whole giant marketing plan of things you want to do, there's a very high likelihood you will not execute it. You need to focus on one or two things and go all in on them. Most of the successful people that I know in real estate have built their business on one foundational thing. And once they got that foundational thing up and running, they started to build other pillars. But too many times, new agents are trying to do too much, too many things. Dial it back. And if it's open houses, go all in on open houses. If you're cold calling expireds, be the best expired cold caller there is, and hand drop off marketing at expireds. Go all in on mastering expireds, but don't get distracted and try to do too many things. And keep a good balance of nurturing and prospecting, hunting and farming. I hope that helps. And if you like this video, I'm going to go in depth deep on a lot more topics on the channel. So I hope to see you around.